Well, some breaking news in the industry. The TIA, which is the Transportation Intermediaries Association, have received word from the FMCSA that they accepted a petition to begin the rulemaking process on the MAP-21 requirements to require all freight brokers and freight forwarders to have relevant experience or demonstrate that through testing. Okay, so first off, when it comes to MAP 21 requirements, MAP 21 requirements essentially are something that the US had created, and it stands for Moving Ahead for Progress in the 21st Century. So the act was signed into law as of 2012, and it has significant implications for transportation and infrastructure in the United States. In this video, we'll provide an overview of the MAP 21 requirements and the key ones that you should focus on as well, and as well the impact it has on the transportation policy and funding, of course. MAP 21 authorizes federal funding for surface transportation programs and includes several key provisions aimed at improving the nation's transportation infrastructure. And some of the most significant requirements of MAP 21 include performance management. So, MAP 21 does require states to establish performance targets and measure for various aspects of transportation, including safety, infrastructure conditions, and of course, congestion. In addition to this, there's asset management. So, MAP 21 does require states to develop and implement asset management plans to ensure the long term preservation of transportation infrastructure. There's also a freight planning plan, okay? And MAP 21 requires states to develop freight plans and establish freight advisory committees to address the unique needs of freight transportation. There's also environmental streamlining. So, MAP 21 does aim to streamline the environmental review process for transportation projects, reducing delay costs. MAP 21 also has a significant impact on the transportation policy and funding since the enactment of the law. Some of the key impacts include as follows. So, greater emphasis on performance management. So, MAP 21 has shifted the focus of funding, and the focus of funding has been shifted towards performance based outcomes, encouraging states to make data driven decisions and invest in projects that deliver measurable benefits. Increased investment as well in the infrastructure preservation. So, MAP 21's asset management and preservation of existing infrastructure rather than solely focusing on new construction. Okay. In addition to this, improving coordination on freight issues. MAP 21's freight planning requirements have encouraged states to work together and with the private sector to identify and address critical freight corridors in that respect. So, some of the things that it has done for the U.S. Department of Transportation and FMCSA, one of those things is obviously the electronic logging devices. So, the law requires DOT to establish regulations mandating electronic logging devices for motor carriers. And currently, it's required for the completion of those paper logs to go into electronic logging devices. In addition to this, there's that drug and alcohol clearinghouse as well. So, MAP 21 requires DOT to have established the clearinghouse to capture drivers' positive drug and alcohol test results and records of refusals to test within 2 years. That is when the law was to come out. But now, since it is out and is in law, motor carriers have to be required to query the clearinghouse when screening a new driver applicant and annually thereafter as well. Third party service agents also will be and have been permitted to conduct these inquiries on behalf of motor carriers. In addition to this, there's the new entrant testing and audits. So, DOT obviously must require motor carriers entering the industry to complete a proficiency test on the safety regulations and to complete a DOT safety review within 12 months. Okay. Now, there's some more things. Obviously, the bond has been increased to 75,000. We can argue here and talk about how that could be even higher, actually. To be honest with you, when it comes to the bond, we can talk about something like, depending on the percentage of revenue, right? I don't think it's exactly fair for a company that just recently went bankrupt, for example. When they were in the business, you have heard of them, Convoy, for example. This is a company that had investment money of billions of dollars. They were invested by some mega players in the economy of the entire world, actually. So, with that being said, how is it fair that a small broker or freight forwarder, whatever the case may be, was to have a broker bond of only of 75,000, but then a company like Convoy is to have only 75,000? It makes no sense. It should definitely be in addition to whatever the percentage of revenue is for those mega billion-dollar companies as well. In addition to this, MAP also establishes a national freight network and requires the DOT to create a national freight plan. The freight plan is to include an assessment of the condition and performance of the national freight network and identification of highway freight bottlenecks. Okay. In addition to this, obviously funding for truck parking to make more truck parking. We're far away from that. I'm sure you truckers that watch this also are more than aware that there's just not enough. There needs to be more when it comes to that kind of stuff. In addition to this, there's also projects of national and regional significance. So there's about $500 million from the general fund of the USA that is to be allocated for US DOT grant program for major projects. Like highway, transit, rail, and other modes of transportation are also eligible for these funds. However, I really do think that the United States is a ways away when it comes to proper infrastructure for their trucks, and to try to get rid of some of these bottlenecks that occur inside of the system as well. Okay, and that is like when it comes to congestion. We all know of Houston, we all know of Atlanta as an example of places where it's pretty rough when there's traffic all over the place, right? And obviously, they're trying to make some improvements through these performance standards, and making sure that each state and also metro area gets or becomes required to establish minimum performance standards related to highway and bridge maintenance, congestion, system reliability, safety, freight efficiency, air quality, project delivery. If states fail to meet these standards, those states would be required to transfer federal funds from other areas in order to meet those standards as upheld by the government. So you can see MAP-21 has a lot more things than just talking about one simple thing. There's a lot of things in play here. But I think this breaking news of the TIA and from the Transportation Intermediaries Association is a good thing. I'm not saying go and register with the TIA. This is not a promotion or sponsorship. But what I'm saying is this is good that they're saying that freight brokers, when they're getting into the industry, have to go through a knowledge-based test for ethics, morals, business, economics, things like that, where it's going to set up a freight broker for success, whether they take that course from us at Truckadium or they take that course from the TIA or someone else, whatever that may be, at least to have some kind of submitted document saying, hey, we completed a course. We are now in full of the understanding of how to be a freight broker, how to run a freight brokerage business, and now we're ready to take on the right steps to do so. Okay, so we'll see where this goes. They've accepted the petition. Let's see where it goes. Hopefully, it's something that will come into play, so that way we, as freight brokers who've been doing this a long time, can do it the right way and have new entrants do it the right way, just like we have, so that way that truckers don't get screwed, and trucking companies don't get screwed, and there's then a different approach to how this pool of freight brokers will be built for decades to come. So stay tuned. Let's see what happens there. If you like this video, give it a like, a subscribe, a comment, and let me know what your thoughts are about this. All right, thank you.